Hello, welcome back to our Pathfinder Second Edition campaign, session 96. How's everyone doing?
Doing good?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah. Well, if everyone is ready to get going, we'll just get straight into it, shall we? So last we left off, we left our heroes just sort of coming back to the camp after defeating Vesh. Unfortunately, during the fights, Kaskis Povriv had fallen once again, along with your ally Hagen, when Vesh was awoken in his prison. So, scrambling into action, you all rallied together to defeat the fractured form of Vesh before he could regain his strength and escape the prison. Sort of, I don't know, doing some evil stuff probably. Ending once and all for all the threat of Vesh in the gloom. And with Kaskis dead, you decided to return to the camp as soon as possible. So Hanira was casting her teleportation spell just as we left off, right? And you were going back to camp. That's right.
Sounds right to me.
All right. So, actually, let's do this one. Now that you're sort of teleporting back, I guess you think ahead to the task before you to now face down Narsamel. The reason for the gloom fracturing in the first place, and the mind behind a lot of the trials and tribulations you've gone through during this campaign. And now that his final source of power has been taken away from him. With Kaskis's body, I guess, in tow, solemnly sort of teleporting back to the camp, you arrive back to see all of the soldiers, all of the people working on the sky ships above, which are now being fitted with plates of shade steel armor that is coming out of the forge, now that Kazenki is being able to work on it. People sat around campfires, just waiting, seeing you arrive back, along with the elves that had gone with Hagen, the survivors. First person you see is Fela, who you see it in her eyes that she recognizes you all returning back, battered and bruised, injured from your fight with Vesh. And when she recognizes that there is no Hagen there, she sort of sits down by a fire and just starts crying.
I should go and put a hand on her shoulder and say, I know, no, still feel like shit. But if it's any consolation, it worked.
She sort of nods through her tears and says, I knew it would come to this when he set off on that stupid journey. When he took that mission. When he held that book and looked at it, I knew that he had made his mind up. But
Yeah.
thank you. I'm sure that he wouldn't have been able to do it without you.
Nah, he would have been pretty fucked, actually.
I am just fully face-bound.
I mean, yeah, we nearly were too. It was a lot.
She kind of just stares at the fire through her tears.
So I give her a hearty pat on the back and walk on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, need to get better at that.
There's always time. I'm not faring particularly well. Is there anything we can do to expedite the everything, or
Yeah, let's go find somewhere safe to sit down and get ourselves patched up. I'm pretty fucked up too. Calcifer has a 1 hit point.
Oh well.
You have 1 hit. Oh yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of your orcish.
Mm.
Suppose Henning probably would be back to full HP by now.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
I don't know what you're all moaning about. I feel great.
you say, foot firmly atop the back of Cascus' corpse.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, buddy. Kind of miss you.
You hear from above, Calcifer! And you see, looking up, Alira kind of poking out one of the portholes of the of a skyship above, sort of waving down at you.
Oh, it's like awkwardly wave back.
You look like shit.
I feel like it.
Well, I've got a stew on. Come on.
All right. You guys want stew?
We'll get you sorted out.
I would love switch.
You sounds good.
All right, so you make your way up to the skyship, and you see that Alira is just cooking a kind of big hot pot. There's a few kind of gnomes.
Oh my god.
There's Morna, and Roxanne sort of sat there. They're just sort of having a big chat at the moment. As you sort of make your way through the door, Alira kind of runs up and gives you a big hug. You know, I thought you'd be gone for longer, to be honest. But I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. Well, we did it. Well,
Morna looks. Oh god.
I mean, well, I suppose last we set out, we were just going to bring him back, weren't we? But well, that's it. Vesh is no more.
Morna nods.
But same goes for Cascus and Aegon.
Morna kind of ponders out the window for a moment and says, well, on the Vesh front, I suspected as much. The tower collapsing. I assume you saw that as well.
Yeah, I didn't really know that I was held up by him.
By Narsamel's power, which the last of which was being tapped from Vesh, I assume. I think our next goal is to work out when we're going to strike and finish the job.
We have to try and pick these wardens up to speed on the way, or do you think they're just going to click in automatically?
Nyx appears and says, it might be worth taking the next few days to just check out the wardens, make sure there's nothing there. I mean, with Morna's teleportation and my guidance, we should be able to get there quite easily.
Wait, can Morna teleport too?
Not Morna, sorry, Hedera.
Alright. I suppose you can just shadow step like 60 foot at a time.
Just like whoop 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 whoop.
Probably quite speedy, especially over mountains and stuff.
Morna says, it's still going to take a few days for us to sort our fleet out, at the very least. We want the armor paneling to be finished before we go on the final attack. We've got some reports from the rangers around Nivorlus that a lot of the army of Narsamel was in that tower when it collapsed. So whatever's left of his forces will be in the city itself. But provided we can make a big distraction, sort of gain their eye, you might be able to sneak into the city and defeat Narsamel. Once he's gone, his control over the armies will be gone as well.
All things aside, I'm starting to wish we'd done this sooner.
What do you mean,
You
like,
know-
not bothered with the vault and stuff?
Like, no, we should have been helping Kazenki, of course, but maybe Hagen was right and we should have spent and we should have gone to deal with Vesh quicker.
Hmm.
Really speed up the process.
Sax sitting there around with a couple of the gnomes, after sort of bringing his bearded face out from the bowl of stew that he's been gulping down, the stew kind of clinging all to his beard, says, "Nonsense! The retrofitting of the armor panels will become very handy. We shouldn't hopefully have to lose any more ships. I've already lost too many on this journey already."
Don't say that. Never say that. That's going to happen now. You put it out into the universe.
Well, unlike you, I am of a scientific mind. I don't believe in superstition.
Okay.
I mean, we are literally in a world with, like, known gods and magic and shit, right? Like, this isn't...
No, I don't believe in any of that nonsense.
Diane just kind of looks Calcifer in the eye, like,
Just Castle just, like, kind of scratches his head, like, do you not believe in magic?
I don't believe it's magic, I believe it's science. It's just the way our universe works, and we have found a way to harness that energy.
Alright, but it's still there, right?
Well, of course people can do things that would be considered magic, but I feel like it's a lower form to suggest such a thing.
Isn't that a bit like saying you don't believe in swords because it's just like a thin edge that can cut stuff?
Yes, why do you think us gnomes invented rifles? We're not particularly talented swordsmen.
okay, but I can say I don't believe in rifles because it's just a bunch of powder and a stick that sends something out. It's just a process.
Alright, well, at the very least, I don't believe in any gods.
What about demons and devils?
Now, can I just can I just clarify? When you say you don't believe in gods, is that you don't call them God, acknowledge these like powerful things as being gods, or you just like don't think that the things that claim to be gods exist at all? Because I've met one, at least one, two, yeah, at least two.
He tuts and says, if I had a gold coin for every time someone said that they'd met a god, I'd be very rich indeed. But until I meet one, I have to trust my instincts on this.
Well, I mean, you know, seems to be working out for you. I mean, it's just like, you know, done well.
Says, yes, well, hopefully our ships will carry this day. So, anyway, I better get off to work. We've got 3 engine rebuilds to do before the big battle.
Right.
I discovered that Shade Steel is a very, very good conductor of Tal energy.
Tal energy.
Indeed.
Don't suppose you've taken a look at that there where a wooden guy?
Morna says, yes, if you remember before, the gnomes use these kind of refined tile stones, while Scrimshaw needs the raw, powerful ones. They're not the same kind, unfortunately. I did try and convince them to part with them, but they are notorious. She looks at Sax and says, notoriously picky about their energy sources. Sax says, well, if you gave me another few weeks, I might be able to try and retrofit your wooden friend as well. But until I get a good idea about his constitution, I would not be. I would not otherwise be able to help much. I'd have to take him apart to have a look. Perhaps we could get something to work, but as of now, unfortunately not.
Right.
Morna says, sort of nods over to Roxanne and also an orc who's sat next to him and says, everyone, I want you to meet Shamar. He is one of the leaders of the orc force here. And he's like a big, burly, kind of grey orc with kind of white, kind of almost like braids that kind of go down his shoulder. He's got a few battle scars, one on his cheek, one on his lip, and it's like tusks are sort of yellowed and sort of poking out the bottom of his jaw. She says, let me just put the name on. She says, Shamar is the head of the ranger regiment that we've been using to scout out the local area. He has some ideas about potential battle strategies if you want to go over it.
Yeah,
We'd like to
sure.
get your opinion. And Shamar says, well, thank you very much. So, first of all, we're going to have to ask you to do something that is potentially a big deal. We feel like you're probably the best for it.
Right.
He points down to a table and sort of clears away a few of the bowls and sort of puts kind of salt and pepper pots resembling, I guess, the fleet. He says, as of right now, we have 6 working skyships. We have a couple that are hopefully being fixed up, but we might not have it fixed by the time the battle comes to head. The longer we wait, the more chance that Narsamel will have to reconstitute his forces. Although a lot of the soldiers have died in the tower, he does have what seems to be a very powerful group of elven bodyguards, so to speak, forming something like a battalion. Now, these are around 1,000 quite powerful soldiers who he uses as his personal protection.
Are those the ones that we ran into? And he'll give like a brief description of the guys that.
Yes, it sounds like you're referring to the Brass Order, which is another concern, because the Brass Order headquarters are also in Nevorlis. And these are people who are accomplished magic users. Uncommon for elves, as you're probably aware, but the Brass Order themselves seem to have, from our discussions with Hagen, some within the Order who will fight on our side as well, if there was to be an attack. As of his guards, it's probably prudent for us to try and cause some sort of distraction which will draw them out of hiding and leave Narsamel with the least amount of protection as possible. Now, we plan to do a sort of, and I hate to say this, but a sort of suicide run with one of the ships, where we try and run through their defenses, and then you jump down onto the tower and fight your way to Narsamel. A precision strike, so to speak.
Right.
Whilst that's oh, go on.
How high can these ships go?
These ships, how high can they go?
Well, I suppose all the way, right? I mean, we came from up there. Yeah, kind of stupid question. I was just thinking maybe if we come from real high, they might not see us there.
Well, this is another concern, that they do have what some of the elves here have been calling gloom beasts, who are sort of like Kiraxes, but gloomy versions. They are able to fly, and they do have a sort of cavalry detachment as part of that battalion, which will certainly try to intercept the fleet on its way to the palace. Our main concern is to hold the main gate. If we can capture the main gate, we can distract a lot of the troops for a while and draw them outside the palace, and then send you on a ship to get there.
Right.
What we have learned from our excursions is that you remember when we came into the gloom, we came under attack by some sort of lightning kind of thing. That's coming from that tree. Now, that tree itself, I'm not sure whether we have time to go and deal with, but it seems to be controlled, at least in part, by Narsamel. So the choice is either we try and deal with that in the next few days, maybe if you go and deal with the wardens at the same time, or we just brave it. Hopefully the Shadesteel will be able to reflect a lot of the damage, and we won't be as susceptible to it as before. He also says Morna and Roxon will be helping the main force to hold the gate, and to hold off the reinforcements from sort of getting to you in the palace. We did consider having them come along with you, but it is more important that they use their abilities in battle to help the main front of the fight, so we're not overrun too quickly. As for you, you'll have one chance to deal with Narsamel. If he gets away, if he, escapes or disappears, he potentially might come back. So we have to hit him fast, and we have to hit him properly.
Right.
No pressure, like.
Well, no pressure indeed. Morna says, if you would rather me and Roxon attempt to take out Narsamel, and you would rather hold the gates, we can do that. But in terms of just raw numbers, it's best that me and Roxon are in one part of the fight, and you lot are in the other.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly makes sense to have at least a couple of stronger folk around here, because if if they're able to board your skyships, then you kind of lose your advantage, right?
Yes, and in theory, Morna says, we only need to hold out as long as it takes for you to find Narsamel and dispatch of him. Once his psychic link to his armies is disconnected, then we will eventually be able to tear the masks, I guess, off his forces. Hopefully the whole veil will fall, and then that'll be it.
There's a lot of hopefullys involved.
Well, it's war. Nothing ever goes as we plan it, but I feel like it's our only chance of getting this done. We had twice the amount of troops when we were coming over here than we have now. We've lost some in the woods. We lost some on the journey over here. And the longer we stay here, the more likely we are to dwindle our numbers even more. We aren't getting any reinforcements, and we're not getting any younger.
Right, so got a few days. Got this tree to go check out. Hopefully, borrow an axe, chop that shit down.
Got those wardens.
Got the wardens to go visit. And hopefully, if there's some gems lying around we could borrow, well, I say borrow, commandeer, can pay, but like, we'd like to try and get Cascus back.
I understand, Monas. Do you by any chance have his body?
Yeah, we do. Pulls out the bag of holding and pulls out Cascus.
It's like a rabbit in a hat.
Illyria's like, oh, what the hell? He got crushed.
Yeah, there was this fist, and yeah.
You should have seen the other guy.
What, Hagen? Honestly.
Yeah.
Sire just stares daggers like, shush.
Oh, sorry.
Mona kind of out of like a little amulet around her neck, takes out it just opens it up. It's like a little pendant, a little gem inside, and walks over to Cascus's body and sort of holds it, and sort of just looks at it for a moment. After a little moment, she says, "I'm not sure how much luck you're going to have."
What makes you say that?
His soul... With recently passed bodies, souls tend to have some sort of connection to their body, as if they want to come back. I fear that wherever Cascus's soul is at, he either doesn't want to come back, or he is owned by someone else.
There was that.
Lady Selen.
Yeah. The last time he died, there was that whole courtroom drama over his soul.
That's one way to put it.
The concern I have, Mona says, is that after hearing what's happened in the afterlife with Neruzatar, that there not being any kind of guardian of the afterlife, those who have claims on souls can just nab them. And if I'm right, Lady Selen might not want to give Cascus up. We can try, but I would not have high hopes.
But we need a new guardian of souls. Or your trespasser, or whatever.
Well, that's the reason I'm here in the first place. That's the trespasser, in my opinion, would be the best for the job, if we can resurrect her.
Some weapon in, well, I suppose that's another thing we need to do while we're in the Vorlis. Though, I suppose we don't need that to take out Narsimel. It might be easier just to do it after.
Yes, we know in theory where it is.
Unless it would help us in the fight.
Shamar says, the concern I have is that going into the gardens of the palace will then mean that you'll have to dig up the weapon and then climb and fight your way through the entire tower. If you were to be airdropped into the top floor, it would only be a short distance to get to Narsimel.
Out towards the tower.
The main palace in Nivorlis seems to be about 16 floors.
Right, it'll take us a little while to fly up then.
Yeah. Yes, Narsimel's personal chambers. We haven't been able to get into Nivorlis, but we have managed to make contacts with some elves who are in the kind of local resistance, who claim that Narsimel's personal chambers are on the top, 2 floors. So
yeah, that's the kind of shit them lot do, innit? It's like, oh, my chambers must be on the top floor in the grandest thing, and
I mean, it's
Nick's
also
laugh.
it's also going to be, everyone has to fight all the way up there, usually. It's my usual thinking. Maybe
Yeah.
they're worn out by the time you get there, and you just wipe them out with a spell.
Nick's laughs and says, "Wait, they were my chambers before."
all right. Well, you know.
That is something we need to talk about as well at some point.
Or the old power vacuum.
There's that. Just the whole situation we're going to be leaving here when we hopefully stab Narsamel a bunch and he doesn't come back. There's not just one being here. Like that Drider almost lich creature was one, and I imagine she's not the only one that wanted to fill the vacuum.
Morna says, "Our first goal is to try and sort this mess out in the first place. The people of the Gloom, once freed, will have the right to deal with their leadership however they want. It shouldn't be our job to intervene in that respect.
No, but it also does have concerns related to what happens with Nyx afterwards. Whatever her decision is.
Nick says, personally, I would like to go and see about the wardens. If we can talk to them, I might get a better idea about what to expect." The first one, Malira, gave me my memories back, but there's still parts that I'm missing, and there's still things that I would like to know. Especially what
Do you
my
think,
role in all this is.
do you think that could have been intentional? If she could have left out some bits that maybe she didn't want you to remember.
I find it difficult to think of the wardens that way, but maybe that's the way that they put in my mind.
Yeah.
The concern I have is that Malira especially hinted at more that I was meant to do. And I'm not really sure what she wanted with that. I'm hoping that maybe speaking to some of the other wardens will help me work it out.
Right. Maybe they've got some more memories for you too.
At the very least, I feel like this whole thing, being drawn back here, being reborn in this way, this is the Warden's doing. It's not fate,
Maybe you told the wardens to do it.
Maybe they just, yes, maybe they just made it happen. Maybe I asked them to. I don't know. Even Narsamel coming to power is hazy to me. I remember stumbling down into his laboratory and finding him working on these strange experiments, having taken elves and put those grotesque masks on them. And then one day he came up to my chambers, we had an argument, and then that was it. It's sort of hazy from there.
Do you remember what the argument was about?
She thinks for a moment. No, I don't. So I know how it turned out, and Narsimel doing this stuff. I mean, is it strange? He was always so. He was so nice, from what I remember. He worked as a loyal servant of the people. He wasn't native to this place. He just sort of turned up about 400 years before, and had been working diligently. Had had the knowledge about the other world. He'd been, we assumed he had been killed by a Shadesteel sword, and that's why he came here. We did have people who occasionally appeared that way, and we tried our best to bring them into our society, but he didn't like to talk too much, I think, about where he had come from.
I don't think I would want to if I was stabbed with a Shadesteel sword.
I wonder if he's from the same place as Vasiri.
Why did you say that?
I don't know. I mean, turns up, seems to know a bunch of shit that most don't. Makes, well, I mean, he's clearly pretty powerful, right? Who would have taken him out and have him not be in the history books?
Well, he did exist in the in some history, I guess. Remember that island we went to, where Malathar was released?
True.
Do you remember that? He was there, wasn't he? He was the priest on the island who tried to release Malathar originally. And according to the memory stone that we saw, he was pushed into the lava, wasn't he?
But then why would he end up in the gloom?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Maybe he stabbed himself with a Shadesteel dagger on the way down.
Or just landed on it funny, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
But to arrive in the gloom, to act in a way that, I mean, he was planning for the long term. He wasn't an immortal elf. He was he's a regular. No offense, Hanira. A regular elf. I mean, he lived over half his life here. He was getting old, and then did what he did. It's crazy to me.
Okay. Well, if he was getting old, then that kind of also is a tick in the column against my spitball.
Maybe these plans have just been long in the making.
At the very least, I would like to get some information out of him before we finish him off. Obviously, that might be wishful thinking, but
Maybe he'll have a journal or something explaining his tragic backstory.
Here are all my master plans and every bit of backstory that people don't know, all written in a row in one little book.
he's just written an autobiography.
Yeah. And highlighted the bits that are...
A life of an evil villain. So Amorna stands and says, "Well, all right. Well, if you're up for it, going and seeing the wardens might be a good shout. Actually, I mean, if we can get their assistance in the fight in Nevorlis, whatever they can do. I'm not sure how powerful they'll be after having been corrupted by Vesh for so long, but any assistance we can get will be useful."
Maybe.
Don't suppose you've made any allies.
What's that? Sorry, what did you say?
I don't suppose you've made any allies.
Don't suppose that we've made any allies.
Yeah, well, we've been out and about.
Well, other than like various contacts we've had with people in the Brass Order and sort of around Navolis and some of the elven like noble houses, there's been a very little amount of people willing to put themselves on the line. A lot of people seem to not really trust us or feel that we'll be successful.
Well,
But now
you're
that that
also a
tower
bunch.
has been
No, you go.
now that that tower has been destroyed, I feel like they might change their minds, especially if they see us attacking the city.
Hmm.
But we shouldn't hope for their assistance. We should do everything as much as we can amongst ourselves.
And the more of them that we try and get in on it, more likely we tip off Narsimel.
Exactly. And even though, you know, a lot of his forces have been destroyed, even though the imminent threat to Adana has now passed, we still need to defeat him and sort the gloom out, you know, from its twinning with Adana, and put things back to how they were. And the most important thing for that is to defeat Narsimel and take control.
Yeah. So, do you think you can really take on the full force of what he's got left? All his soldiers, all his riders.
Well, hopefully we don't have to do it for too long. I mean, if we just swoop down, take the gate, start setting things on fire, draw some eyes, and then you go into the palace and destroy Narsimel, it should hopefully it should only be a few minutes worth of fighting rather than a day or so.
Okay.
Obviously, if anything goes wrong, that'll be our final hand of the battle. You know.
Right. So if it goes on for a while, we're fucked, basically.
We don't have any reinforcements. We don't have any. You know, the only things we've got are what we've got right now.
Hmm.
Unless there's any sort of secret weapon that you found on your journey that could help us.
There was the hover turret.
Yeah, where do we leave that?
You left it in Kulikan's vault.
Oh no!
Oh, that could have actually been pretty useful.
Just use it to burn like through Narsimel's like face or something.
I mean, we could have put it on one of the ships.
Oh yeah, I imagine Sax would have loved to get his hands on it.
Yeah, it might have
Can
been
we
able
not
to
just go back
reproduce
and get it?
I think it's... How much firepower do these ships have?
Morna says, I think I heard Sax saying something about that they've got 6 cannons per deck. Per side, sorry. So 12
Those-
cannons per deck.
Are those like
And then
cannonballs?
Yes, but they're gnomish ones. They have timed charges, so they're actually high
Right.
explosive. And then there's you know, muskets and also it's got a lot of firepower.
I think that turret might be pretty useful.
Do we
Well-
have the time to go get it though? We've got the wardens to deal with. They're all
Well,
spread out.
Well, we've got. I mean, how many days do you like? If you can work out how many days it might take you to do all this stuff, we should be able to make a timeline soon, and then get everyone ready for the battle. I mean, it's going to take at least a few days for the ships to be finished.
Yeah. Anera,
Yep.
how many teleports can you do a day?
4.
Right. So 2 days. We could get around everything if we stay away overnight.
Would that be advisable before a battle against someone as powerful as Narsimel?
Oh, I don't know.
Wait. I think we should leave the turret for now. Personally.
Well, if we've got 4 teleports a day, and we've got 5 locations, right? So we've got the turret, we've got the tree. The turret might even help with the tree, right? Just and then we got the 4 wardens, or is 4 warden? Is it 4 wardens?
Yeah, there's 4
Yeah.
wardens, yeah.
So yeah, 6 locations.
Oh, sorry. No, there's 3 no, yeah, there's 4 wardens. There was 5 wardens, and then you've obviously killed Bear. So there's 4 wardens to meet. Yeah.
Yeah, so 4 wardens, the turret, which we left behind, maybe, and the tree. Teleport. So if we play it safe, we could teleport to one, onto another, and back in a day. That's 4. So that's 3 per day. We could get everything done in 2 days and be back sleeping here overnight. Downside is an error is not going to be full strength, right? Because she's going to be spending all of her big fancy spell slots teleporting. So if we get into deep shit.
Oh, hold on. No, I can actually do it. I can actually do 8 times a day.
Oh my.
Oh
Well,
my god.
okay.
This is level 6 spell. And we said that I can use level 7 spell slots to cast level 6 spells as long as I don't actually cast it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
All right then.
But that would be all of my level spell slots.
Yeah. But yeah, we could get around all these spots in a day if we don't run into trouble. I mean, we probably will run into trouble, but you know, if we do, then call it 2 days. Maybe aim to just use the level 6s.
Yeah.
Okay. There is also the small concern of the fact that we almost died earlier, and we need to get to full strength before we move on.
Oh yeah, I mean we're not going anywhere right now, right? This is planning ahead.
Mona says that also, it's also probably important that if you can't bring Cascus back, and I'm saying as an expert in these things that you probably can't, it might be worth thinking about some sort of funeral.
Well, would we want to do it here or back home?
I don't think Cascus would really mind. I think he'd find it funny being buried somewhere like here where we wouldn't have to spend much money. No, he would want us to spend money on it, I think.
Oh, yes.
He would want us
Also-
to pull out all the stops.
I think we
Snag
should.
and Snot need to be there.
Yeah.
Fire him out of the
yeah.
cannon.
And I don't know whether he made up with his brother, but we should probably tell him to. I don't know if he'd want to come. Yeah, I think we should do that on.
Back in Adana.
Yeah.
Okay, how are we going to keep the body fresh up until then?
Mona says, we have people here that can preserve bodies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mona kind of clicks her fingers, and a couple of the orcs just pick up Cascus and sort of take him away. I will, she says, I will speak to a couple of the orc clerics, see what they can do. But until the trespasser's back, I think it's going to be very difficult to reach Cascus's soul, especially if it's been claimed by Lady Selen.
But what you're saying is if we want Cascus back, we have to punch Lady Selin in the face.
Maybe that's for another day. That's going to be difficult.
Maybe let the trespasser do that for us. I mean, you saw that
do
fight. I
also
don't
just-
think that was the kind of thing you want to be getting in the middle of.
I mean, yeah, she might have gotten rid of Null, potentially. I don't buy that one bit, but potentially. But I think we can take it, right? Right?
If we don't have to, I actually would quite like to get home at some point. So, not look into suicide, you know?
Okay, fine.
Yeah, Mona says Lady Selin is no amateur, not like Neruzatar. You know, Neruzatar's kind of new to the whole god thing, in the grand scheme of things. Lady Selin has been a powerful devil for an archdevil for a very long time. She knows how to protect herself, so to speak. And she has a lot of people who fight for her with ardent fervor. Powerful people.
We don't need another powerful enemy.
And if she has claimed Cascus, perhaps you'd even have to fight him. I don't know how these things work, but...
I mean, I have also always wanted to punch him in the face since I met him. Like, day one. Wallop.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Mona stands up and says, "Right, well, I better get going. It's getting late.
Right. How do you know?
I will... I have a watch that Sex gave me. One of his clockwork contraptions. Tells the
it's
time.
Oh, it's like a sundial, but on your hand.
It's mechanical. It's made of... Yes, it's made of gears.
Hmm.
I don't know how they power them. They don't seem to run out of energy. And she sort of listens to it a little bit. Ticks.
Oh, actually, that's... I say like, oh, it's like a sundial. Calcifer has a clockwork shield.
She says, get some rest. I'm sorry for your loss. But we've got work to do, yeah? So we need to get
Doesn't
onto
stop.
it. Roxanne sort of gets up as well and says, yeah, I quite liked him, actually. Sorry. And then leaves. A couple of the orcs get up, and the rest of the names sort of file out as well. And Illyria says, "Well, I think the stew went down well."
Yeah. Tastes like home.
Yeah, it was. I found some like dead carcass just outside the camp.
Oh.
Carcass
Oh,
of
come on.
what?
I don't know. It was some sort of. It looked like a spider.
Oh God.
Ah,
I-
yeah. You didn't complain when you were eating
Oh,
it.
I did think
Oh.
it tasted a bit like crab.
Exactly. A reminder of Eshmelin.
Hmm.
I mean, if it tastes good and it doesn't kill me, I don't mind.
Yeah. Put a good spider to waste, you know.
Exactly.
I'm not sure how it
Course
died, but you know. Hopefully, we're not all poisoned. No, I'm joking. She says, "Does anyone want a drink?" And she sort of like looks through a couple of the cupboards and finds an old bottle of rum that is stashed away. I think some orc put this here. or gnome, I guess. I don't really know. Do gnomes drink alcohol?
Well, what shelf was it on?
God damn it!
She's like, good point. It's probably not. She comes over and sort of pours out like a few glasses. It sort of knocks one back really quickly, and just sort of scrunches her face up and says, "Oh, that is strong."
You know, after all this time, I thought you would have gotten used to spirits.
She's like, too soon, dude. Way too soon.
I think it'll be too soon for the next 5 or so years. Maybe longer.
And she says, I just can't believe that I'm in this place. I mean, it's the most bizarre place I've ever seen. Like, there's
Well-
a whole world above us, and there's like loads of fog, and it's dark all the time, and there's like evil things around. I mean,
That
a
just sounds like
planet.
home.
it doesn't sound
Fog
like
and evil things.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like home to me. Eshmalen is beautiful. I can't wait to go back.
Hopefully, about a week's time, we'll be on our way there.
Yeah.
I imagine if you described Eshmalen to some of the people from here, they would recoil in terror.
Or like,
Where's that?
oh, there's like this massive ball of fire that lights up the sky all day and then disappears at night.
Exactly.
She laughs. Alira laughs and says, "You know, I think I miss the most about Eshmalen is the sea. Seeing the boats go across the horizon, and seeing the fishermen come in at the end of the day, bringing back their hauls of fresh fish and crabs and eels and whatever."
You can move to the coast if you want. Can live anywhere.
She sort of like looks off as if she's imagining where she would want to live, and says, "To be fair, I think I would be happy anywhere, anywhere normal, that is."
Yeah, after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get back home and get those standards back up.
All right. Is there anything anyone wants to do tonight before going to sleep?
Maybe have a quick conversation with Nyx.
Yep. All right. So what do you want to say?
So, there's something you said on the way to Vesh that worried me.
Mm-hmm.
You said, whatever happens, thank you for coming, or something like that?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate?
Well, I've just been thinking recently, and come with me. I want to show you something. She sort of begins flying off near the mountain.
I have wings now, so I follow.
She flies up a kind of an old side rocky path that leads to a sort of cliff that overlooks the mountain ravine. Looking down at the camp below, where the skyships are just sort of floating, you know, maybe a few hundred feet below you, within the ravine, just above the camp. In the distance, you can see the mountain head, where, like, across the way, where the city of Novorlis sits and is lit up. And she says, you know, when I was young, I would come up here and sit on these mountains, and I'd sit for hours and make up stories about the peaks. Which ones were giants, and which ones were sleeping gods. And I think I liked the idea that just some things just were. That they didn't have to change, didn't have to be understood. They just existed. Cyan, she like looks off in the distance and says, do you ever think about the end? Not like dying, I mean, just like when everything changes. When the story turns and the page after it is blank.
I've kind of had to live a life that's kept me in the moment, really. It's not really something that's come to my mind.
She pauses, and you see in the distance a sight you haven't seen that much. A hawk, kind of just floating in the sky, just riding the updraft of the wind, kind of circling there. And she says, you know, I think if I could choose where my story ended, I'd want it to be here, with this sky, with you. She doesn't wait for a reply. She kind of lies back in the grass, her arms behind her head, her eyes kind of tracing the sky as it kind of dips lower towards the mountains. She says, there's still time to just be normal before everything ends and before we step into whatever comes next. We don't have to run there. Not yet. Let's just stay a little longer.
Okay.
The wind picks up and the clouds shift, and for a brief moment the hawk is there in the sky, and then it flutters away down the ravine. She says, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the wardens have in store for me. But I just want you to know that if things go badly, if I have to do something that I don't want to talk about right now, I want you to live your life to the fullest. I don't want you to hold anything after this.
Well, I've still got some duties after we stab this asshole. Got my mother to save, but after that, I might try and find a way back. Depends. Everything
Yes.
always depends.
Well, all I'm saying is that I don't want you to be tied here. Not to the gloom. I don't want you to feel like you have to come back, or you have to be here, or if I end up staying, or if I, God forbid, something happens, this is my curse. This was put onto me. It's not your destiny.
What if I wanted to be here, though? Like, I don't know. It's something that requires a lot of thought, but Aden has never really been home. It's been chaos and pain and suffering. Home was the road.
I get that. But take it from me that even though this has been my home for the vast majority of my life, if you had ever asked me when I was Queen Vanya that I had a shot at returning back to Adana, I would have taken it. I wouldn't have ever chosen to be here. This was just how it was.
It's something we need to think about. And something that even if we have ideas now, may change tomorrow, which may change the next day. We'll take it as it comes.
Okay. Yeah, she lies back in the grass and just sort of looks down at the valley. What's everyone else up to? Henning?
Nothing in particular. Probably just resting and thinking himself about the last battle.
Just like 3 or 4 glasses into that bottle of rum that Alira has.
And think about blood a little.
Oh, I wish this rum was blood. This would be so much better if it tasted like iron.
Fermented blood.
Fermented blood milk. Lovely. All right, let's take a break here then, shall we? And then we'll come back.
Sure.
Yeah, come back in 15
Sounds good.
Right. See you in a bizzle, cooler kids.
A bizzle.
What? Okay, hi,
That-
welcome
that's
back.
it.
Everyone. I don't know Spanish, Richard. Can I get Spanish? I don't know. Hi, welcome back. So just before the break, the party had returned back to the camp. We're just sort of touching base about all the stuff they plan to do. You're just gonna have some rest now. So, having some space on the ships. So put your head down. Is there any last bits you want to do before the next day? Or you know?
No.
Okay, so
Can I get
waking
rid
up.
of this wounded thing and drain stuff?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Cool,
Yeah,
cheers.
that's all good. So waking up feeling a lot more refreshed. Your health, your wounds magically healed from the 8 hours of rest.
Well, the wounds are healed. Well, I suppose the actual wounded condition is the rest, right? But not
Yeah.
the HP.
Yeah.
Well, Are you not healing us?
I mean, we would be doing that
Okay.
in
Yeah.
the evening.
So waking up the next day, you see obviously you hear the hammering of orcs tied to the side of the sky ships, installing shade steel plates that Kazenki has been working on throughout the night. Gnomes kind of barking orders and sort of holding on to cranes and doing maths to work out where to put them. Sax has a group of gnomes like rebuilding an entire engine in the base of the camp, and they're sort of hastily putting together a crane so that they can like install it into one of the ships soon. No more to be seen, but waking up nice and refreshed. You still see Phalar in the distance, sort of by the fire. She seems to have been out there all night, just kind of staring into it. What do you want to do today?
Right. So, wardens or tree or turret?
I think
Wooden.
wardens first.
Choices.
Which warden do you want to go to?
Which one's closest?
Does the distance matter? With
I guess not. We could just like spin like a bottle or something and just randomly pick a name.
looking
So
up,
the
is there any way to sort of gauge which ones we'd be able to see from, like, see the general location from the others?
So from where, no, well, the mountains kind of block all of them really. Like from down there, you're in a forest, so you're not going to really see up over here. From here, there's this mountain in the way, so you can't see the other one. And the peak of the mountain is sort of in between the two wardens. You can like see the forest in the distance that warden's at, but you know, it's sort of like a straight line of sight from where you are.
Okay.
Like 52 miles.
So we might be able to go maybe to this warden, then to this mountain somewhere, walk around, float around, then maybe back. So we could maybe go like 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the other one?
So Malira's down off the map down here, but but you've already like been to her, so she's already awakened. So.
Okay.
Maybe the wardens can like network with her or something.
And then we head to the tree. And then
Sounds like a good idea to me.
They're the names of the wardens, by the way.
Cool.
I think this was Tyrion, if I remember correctly, and then that's Jinax, and that's Leo.
Cool.
So, Darian could go to.
Carrion sounds
we
good.
could pick up the turret on the way.
Leave the turret. I just don't think it's a good idea.
But it was really fucking cool.
Yeah, but I don't think it's worth risking people's lives.
And it would help with the gate.
I think we should take the turret. Do a vote.
I'll do that.
All in favour of taking the turret, say aye. Aye.
I think we should get it on the way back, so that we're not lugging it
I-
around. But
Yeah, like I think if we go to Kulakan's vault after going to the wardens,
Hmm.
rather than having to carry it around or travel on it.
Okay.
So you want to go straight to Tyrion, do you?
Yeah.
All right. Are you teleporting, Hanera?
No. I refuse. Oh yeah, we can teleport. We can teleport. Fine. I will teleport. How far is it?
It's 52 miles. Yeah, so you should arrive about 5 or so miles away out of it. So it should be a short walk.
half a mile?
Oh, maybe half a mile.
I think it's 1%.
Oh, is it 1%?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It's
so
a
like
mile
a
maximum.
Yeah, like half a mile. All right. So, with your bags packed, Alira having said goodbye again as you head off for your day's work, Richard.
Have fun at work, dear.
I'll have another stew when I get back. I got some more spider. They just keep dying outside the base. I don't know why that is. All right, so Hanera starts to focus on the teleportation spell. The four of you lifting off and appearing within the woods. The dark woods around you. You appear on a riverbank where you see that what was the water previously is just black beads all down the river. What seems to be like those same sort of beads that you saw when people were transported and killed by the Shadesteel sword.
Then like the dream Hanera had in like the first.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually interestingly similar to the location you were at then. Riverside, looking down. Nick says, "Oh, that's horrible. This used to be a huge flowing river of actual real water. I'm not sure how this happened."
I was about to ask, because it's always been like that.
No, it hasn't. Makes me wonder what the sea's like.
Oh. Is the sea there? I thought we weren't connected to the sea anymore, like the land was wrapping around.
There's still a sea.
I see.
Fancy going in the bag?
Who, me?
Cyan.
Why? Why would I go in the bag?
Just
For your puns.
just for the puns.
Right, okay. Right. I'll try not to make any more today.
Yeah, as you're sort of walking, as Nyx is guiding you to where she remembers Terrian's temple is, she says, "Remember, the wardens are very serious. We can't be taking the piss out of them." All right,
I wouldn't dream of it.
I think it was just Cyan and Cascus before. None of you met Melira, did you?
No.
So, yes, just on your best behavior, everyone. As she, as you begin to walk up some like overgrown stone steps, covered in old dead vines that sort of like curl all the way down, and like an ancient temple staircase. Old, kind of what seems to be statues of animals line a kind of walkway that leads up to the top of the temple. It's almost like an old, almost like a jungle kind of pyramid, flat topped, however, with a kind of indentation within it that like has a kind of altar at the top, that is also overgrown and covered with treetops, old vines, like bits of like decaying moss. And she says, have a look around. There might be I don't know whether there's a shard of Vesh here or something that is corrupting the wardens. Do people want to make a perception check?
Sure.
Sure.
Go ahead. Customer 23, Henning 27, Anna 27, Cyan 42, Hank 28. Yeah, Hank is feeling a lot better today as well.
I realised after the fight actually that he shares my orcish ferocity thing, so he actually stays on 1 HP when he would go down.
He shares your orcish ferocity.
Yeah, so the feature I have that means that I go to 1 HP once per day when instead of going down.
Yeah.
Hank also gets.
No, doggish ferocity.
Borkish ferocity.
Do you want to go in the bag?
So as you're sort of looking around, there doesn't seem to be any sign of a warden here. The temple itself, overgrown with the trees as it is, you sort of like clear a few of the vines off the altar, and see that there's like carvings of jungle animals, and a big kind of bust of a what seems to be like some sort of mammal, like a shrew or something, like curled up in a ball. All the other animals of the forest sort of surround it, and it is and it seems to be giving off like kind of rays of light on this altar, sort of like indentation. Nick says, "Yes, that's Tyrion. But where is he?" As she's looking around. Cyan, you. Oh god.
Oh, no, you go.
As you're having a look around, you see, like, just below the altar, a crack in it, where, in the same place in Melira's thing, where there was that shard of Vesh, you notice that there was something that was put here, but now seems to be gone, like a crack in the altar. No shard of Vesh to be seen, but also no warden.
Did we accidentally fuck up?
I don't see why we would have, Nick says.
Maybe when Vesh died, something happened with the shards.
I mean, who's to say he's not just off for a walk or something?
Could be. Maybe touching the shrew will do something? I poke the shrew.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
Does the shrew speak a language?
Well, it's a carving. in a altar. So
Oh,
Did I stutter?
I completely missed that. I thought you said it was a. Oh, don't worry.
sorry. Nick's kind of looking around. Is like, Tyrion, are you there? There's no response. The entire forest is still and dead.
Do we shout louder?
This is very strange. The wardens don't like to leave their temples.
Should we? I know you said to be on our best behavior, but if they're like super serious, maybe if we tell like a really bad, egregious joke.
Out of the corner of your eye, Cyan, you see in the distance, in a kind of part of the undergrowth, something blue poking out of one of the bushes. Do you want to go and inspect it and have a look?
Yeah, I'm gonna pop on over.
Okay. As you go over and sort of push a bit of the dead hedgerow away, you see a Achidian flower spouting from the ground nearby.
Right, that's just what we need.
Is that something that we have seen in the gloom?
No.
Next, what do you make of this?
An Achidian flower? I mean, nothing should be growing here. This entire forest is basically dead. This looks like it's just blossomed. As you sort of like not carve, you sort of clear a bit more of the hedge of the undergrowth and kind of look, you see it's actually been planted. It seems to have been literally planted, maybe not that long ago even. Like, there's probably not much water for it to feed on. There's not much nutrients in the soil, and the ground's all dead. So it couldn't have been more than a couple of days, or a day or so.
And why would they
There's
plant it here.
there's one blue guy that we know who frequents the gloom.
I take the flower.
Okay. You just put it in a bag.
Yeah.
Do you think it was the assassin?
Potentially, he could be trying to mess with the wardens. Don't think he might have gone Tarian.
If a shade steel weapon kills someone in the gloom, what happens to him?
Well, the assassin's blade is not any shade steel weapon. It was designed. And then her eyes widen a little bit, and she says, "It was designed to kill a warden."
Oh shit.
Okay, what do we do then? Go to the other wardens now, or do we try and stab this guy a bunch? I don't think stabbing him will get that Tarian back, but you know.
Is there any? Did he leave any tracks? Did it? Like, is there anywhere that he might have gone?
I start looking around for like footprints.
Hank sniff the flower.
Yeah, Hank can do a survival check as well.
Where did Bible?
20, 31. Hank sniffs the flower, sort of like scrunches his nose a little bit and kind of looks at you, and then kind of starts sniffing around to see where else. Eventually, he kind of runs back with another Orchidean flower in his mouth after a little bit, after having just run north.
All right, take us there.
Okay, you're gonna follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep following the tracks, are you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So eventually, you come to the river. You're just gonna fly across, are you?
Yeah.
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 See, Hank sort of like points with his nose over the other side of the river. You see another Orchidean flower on the other side. The Nyx says, the sword. Just to, I mean, we've gone over this before, but the sword was made by Fandarin, from what, or I guess Sikadan, and was kept in a vault here in the gloom. And it was said that if we needed to ever kill Vesh, we could use that to kill him. The power of it was used to imprison him, and that's what made him so weak that he could be killed conventionally. But when I assume the banking guild took it and brought it to Adana, they realized that it had another property as well, which is that wherever the wielder goes, Orchidean flowers kind of appear, so to speak. It's not necessarily that they bloom, it's that they kind of just are around him. That's probably where they got the knowledge to use Orchidean in the way that on him, the way they did.
Can I fly up a bit to get a bit of a view, and just see if we can see any suspicious-looking patches of mist?
Sure. Make a perception check for me.
Ooh, 36.
36. So flying up, because it's the gloom, it's all kind of misty. Nothing seems to be particularly more misty than others. On Adana, when the assassin would turn up, it would go misty because sort of like almost the gloom seeping through. But here, just everything is misty all across the distance. It's very hard to get like a solid grasp of like where things on the ground are because the mist does kind of roll in all across the ground everywhere you go. You do see up in the mountains ahead, however, there seems to be a few kind of lights on the mountainside. So there's like maybe here it seems to be some sort of camp, like a campfire.
How far away is that?
About 17 miles. But because it's so dark here, it carries, and it's on the side of the mountains.
I'll fly back down. Well, there's something that might be him camping out on the side of that mountain. If that's where he is, probably means he's going for the next warden. I think.
But what could he be doing? Nick says. He's not working for Narsamel, is he? I mean,
can it like absorb the warden's power, or does it just kill him?
I mean, maybe that is what he's doing. All the time that we've known of him, he has been absorbing power. He's been absorbing Jade Steel weapons. He's been absorbing as much as he can do. And he seems to be driven by something that is external to what Narsamel is doing. Maybe he is trying to absorb the wardens or something.
Is there a warden that is on the far end where those lights are going? Like if we carve a straight line.
Yeah, there's a warden here.
Maybe if we teleport there next, we'll be able to get closer to him. And maybe he hasn't even reached it yet, and we can cut him off.
Nick says, the thing I'm concerned about is that he's powerful and we're a man down at the moment.
We can't let him go around killing the wardens, though.
No, I know that.
He's only going to get stronger if he keeps collecting them.
Yeah.
But how strong is he now? I mean, his power comes from that tree, right?
Well, you reckon
Should
if we
we-
take out the tree,
Yeah.
that deals with him sort of vicariously?
Well, the thing I'm concerned about is that if we go to the tree, he might just go to the warden, and then that's another warden down.
So we go to the tree, we potentially cap him at 2, but he gets potentially 2. If we cut him off now, maybe he kills us. I mean, we fought him before and won, and we're a lot stronger than we were then now. But who knows how much stronger he is than he was.
We have to assume he's a lot stronger as well. What do we think, gang?
I think maybe if we start causing trouble at the tree, it'll lure him over. Maybe if we go to the tree, it'll cause him to abandon his pursuit for the wardens to deal with us, if only briefly. Two birds, one stone there.
I mean, if we can get to the tree before he gets to the warden, and it cuts off his power...
We don't know if that'll kill him, though.
No. But if it prevents him from absorbing the warden... But that's a big if.
Yeah, we don't have any major confirmation. I think the tree might be our safest bet to dealing with him, though.
But also, if we've got eyes on him right now, this might be a rare chance to just jump him.
Alright. My
Nick
food's
says,
here, so I'll be right back.
That's right. Nick says, we could try and follow him. See what he's doing. Like, if he goes to the warden and, we can make a decision then, right? And, like, I feel like if we go to the tree now, we're giving up the warden. But if we follow him and see what he's doing with the warden, then we can make a decision, and ultimately we will have more knowledge, and also that warden will have probably been gone anyway. But I mean, I don't want to be in this situation where the wardens are getting picked off. I feel like if we just rush head first into him, assuming we're stronger, I mean, that could be a mistake. So.
Can we get... I mean, we could get ahead of him, get to the warden, warn him. And then, if he turns up, we might have the backing of the warden. I mean, how strong is this? Which one is this? Is it Dinax?
And this is Dinax, yeah.
How strong are they? Are they?
Well, they're powerful, but the gloom has been so corrupted that a lot of their power probably is gone.
So
they get their power from their sort of from the gloom itself, but Narsimel has destroyed so much of it, so much of the life that's here, so much of the energy. I don't know how weak they are now. I mean, Melira didn't seem weak, but she had been corrupted by that shard, so.
are we thinking?
I'm thinking if we don't take this chance to get him now, we might regret it later.
I agree with Calcifer.
Like, if we let him go now, let's say we go to this tree and chop that shit down, and it does fuck all to stop this guy, and he just keeps on killing these wardens, we will feel right idiots. And I know not feeling like an idiot isn't the prime directive, but that's how I feel.
I agree. I think we have to do him in now.
So what's the plan then? We're gonna go to where he is now? I mean, that might be his camp. Or do we wait at the warden? Try and get the warden's assistance?
That's tricky. I mean, if we get to the warden first, we might at least be able to... at the very least, we might be able to get them in a state where they can, you know, piss off if it looks like they're going to get absorbed.
Yeah, I think that's our best shot. And they might even decide to give us something to help out with the fight.
Or this guy turns up, absorbs them right in front of us, gets a massive power boost, and then kills us all.
Nick says, remember, even though you did defeat him before, you still managed to defeat Cascus and Cyan and send them to the gloom. We can only assume he's more powerful in the gloom, and that he's more powerful than he was then, as well. And you're a man down. I mean, it doesn't seem like good odds to me.
When do we really have good odds, to be fair? Odds tend to be against us 9 times out of 10.
I just wish we knew what he was doing. This isn't Narsamel's doing. I don't think I feel like it's not.
Should we recon him first?
Well, that's what I suggested, but I don't know. I don't know how close we were able to get.
What if we just ask him?
I think he'll just kill us. You're wearing shade steel armor.
True.
It only seems to be shade steel weapons he cares about, right?
Yeah. God, no one tell him about the fucking forge.
Well, that is a point, though. Has anyone actually ever spoken to him before properly?
Yeah, well, sort of. I think I've spoken to him.
Is he the one that fancies you?
No, that's his brother.
Oh, right.
Because when he attacked you in that inn, he wasn't going for you. He was going for some of the elves that were there, who had shade steel weapons. You just happened to sort of get involved.
Yeah.
He's called Tybalt.
Yeah, Tybalt.
And he's oh god, the brother of Marish Tidus.
Yeah, your mic is going very funny.
Yeah, sorry, that's because I went to that. So I did put it in the chat. I went to hide in a dark room. I'll come
because
and
of your
stand in
headache,
the
yeah.
hallway.
No, it's fine. We can hear you. Still.
Yeah, no, he's Marish Tidus's brother. Marish Tidus is the one who wanted to marry me because of my beauty. Those are his words, guys. Those are his
He
words.
said the words exactly, beautiful beauty.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've spoken to Tybalt, right? But not about this.
Well, this is my concern. So my concern is that I don't think he's working with Narsimel because he was working with the banking guild. But he broke away from the banking guild and started doing his own thing, and that's what they were worried about, right? They were trying to cover it up. That he had like escaped and was starting to do all this stuff. But the banking guild were working with Nuruzatar. And Narsimel was working with Nuruzatar.
Are you thinking we might be able to reach him?
Well, maybe he wants to be heard out. I mean, if he's enemies with Narsimel too, it could be useful.
At the
I don't know
very
if we
least, Sorry.
I don't know if we can convince him to not want to absorb all these things, but maybe this is what he's doing so he can get enough power to face Narsimel on his own.
Maybe we can convince him there's a better way that doesn't involve absorbing the wardens.
Drop him on the palace.
yeah, we're fine, thanks. You go ahead. Have fun. I think Hanera should probably be one of the people talking to him. He knows Hanera.
Yeah.
But we could try.
Oh well,
It's a gamble. If he decides to attack us, we'll have to just fight him or try. Like we don't have a way to escape, do we?
I mean, we can. Can he fly?
He can move very fast. Remember before?
But can he fly?
I don't know. Maybe you can't.
I don't want to put our bets on flying and then find out that he has a pair of really gross wings that just come out of his back.
Look, if we, I mean, as weird as this sounds, try diplomacy. Do you remember we are actually technically diplomats?
I
Do you
know,
remember
and
that?
we haven't really even done any of that.
It's been a while. It's been a while. We try the diplomacy angle. If that fails, we try the violence angle. If that fails, we try the flying away angle. That way we have to lose 3 times to fail.
I like
Isn't
your
that
optimism.
clever? Being able to fly is a good point.
Maybe he'll be like those guys we were fighting before. They're like, oh, my one weakness.
The air.
I can move really quickly on the ground, but I cannot move up. Or maybe he just jumps really high and swats us like flies. But, we, like I said, 3 plans, all 3 have to fail. What are the odds of that? Don't
Don't
answer.
say that. You're gonna put that into the universe now.
I mean, we just need to fail once, right, for it to go really badly.
That is another point. He might just cut our throats before we can even blink. But
Well,
hey.
yeah, but, if he's that strong, then we're fucked anyway, right?
Yeah. I guess we should go try talking to the big, mean man.
I guess.
Don't we have to find him first?
Well, we can see his camp. I think. This is all assuming that is him.
It could be someone else with a massive love of Achidian.
So, I mean, if we go there on foot, it's going to take a while. Just like looking over at Hanera.
For God's sake. Yeah, alright. That's 2 teleports I've done now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will mark off my sheet when I get back.
So you're gonna teleport over there?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess just kind of aiming a bit off, just so that you don't get too close. Like accidentally teleport on top of it. All right. So Hanera begins to focus on teleporting, and again you are whooshed away on a beam of rainbow light before appearing on the mountainside on a cold mountain pass. The wind up here, overlooking the the forest below. The wind being very strong. The mist kind of rolling down the mountainside, almost like water, collecting in the cracks and the crevices and ravines of the mountain, all pooling towards the bottom and sort of like flowing down the into the forest below. You see in the distance, just across the kind of mountain pass, a fire kind of coming out of a cave, the same fire that you noticed before, maybe a 10-minute walk or so. You gonna head off in that direction?
Sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, as you do, Nick says, "So who's gonna talk to him, and what's the plan? Is everyone gonna turn up, or is it just gonna be one person?" Or
I'll talk to him.
I feel like we should be with you, right?
You guys can come with me. I am. Is my mic okay now?
yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
better.
Yeah. So I'll go with, and you guys can follow. I'll try. I'm not exactly sure what I'll say.
Just wing
Hi.
it, right?
Maybe a little bit of guidance would be good.
It'll be all right on the night.
No. I mean guidance to what I should say.
Oh, you're not just like reassurance.
No.
We come in peace. Can we maybe talk about what you're doing? Maybe ask him how he's feeling. I imagine he hasn't been asked how he feels in quite a long time.
No.
Maybe he'll just like start crying.
Maybe he will.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just thinking whether we should stop for today then. Because I've got some stuff that I need to prepare for in that case. Rather than winging it.
Okay.
Okay.
Either way, sounds good to me.
Yeah. All right. We'll stop here for today then, just so that I have, because this is something that I had planned, but maybe not immediately. So
Not expecting for this session.
yeah. So
All right.
as is the nature of these sort of decisions, sometimes like things kind of cross over. So. Cool. All right. Well, in that case, thanks a lot for playing, everyone.
Thanks for
Thank
running.
you for
Thanks for
going
running.
with me, and we'll be back at it next time. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I think Matt is away for three more weeks, and then he'll be back in 4 weeks. So we'll be able to catch up with Matt about his plans as well. So we'll see. All right. Cool.
All right. See you
Thank
next
you.
week, cooler kids.
Cooler can kids.
Okay, that's worse.
Bye.